Out of these two Lego Ferraris, which one is better? Hey guys, this is JP's Lego Reviews. Today, I'm going to compare two Lego Speed Champion sets. On the left, we have the Ferrari F8 Tributo, set number 76895. On the right, we have the Ferrari F40, set number 76934. Here, in this comparison, we're going to compare the displayability, the realism, value proposition, building experience, minifigure selection, and the playability of each two sets. So, let's break it down. Now, when it comes to what Lego set is more displayable, we need to simply compare what looks better on display. Yes, this is sort of a little bit subjective, but overall, when you're comparing both of these Lego sets for what they are, what Lego set would you say has the least amount of mistakes? What simply just looks the best when you put it on display? And undeniably, it's the Ferrari F40. The lines are cleaner, it's more aesthetically pleasing to look at, and there's less things that are visible in the Ferrari F40 that don't make sense compared to the F8 Tributo. But now, let's move on to the realism of these two sets. Now, out of these two Lego sets, which one is more realistic? Well, it's actually quite simple, and the winner goes to the Ferrari F40. This thing looks a whole lot more like what it's supposed to compared to the F8 Tributo, and the main reason is the shaping of the Lego set. The sculpting on the Ferrari F40 is actually very close to perfect. It's shockingly good how Lego got the Ferrari F40 to look the way it does. The F8 Tributo, on the other hand, does look good on display, but comparing it to the real F8 Tributo, it's not that realistic, and that makes a difference. But now, let's move on to the value proposition. So, what Lego set here is a better value for money? Well, it's the F8 Tributo. Now, for roughly the same size, and you can see how they're roughly the same size, Lego sold the F8 Tributo for 33 Australian dollars, meanwhile the Ferrari F40 is 40 Australian dollars. There's no reason why the F40 should be $7 more expensive. There's no excuse for that apart from Lego just wanting to charge more money. And that's simply because these two Lego sets are about 4 years apart in their release date, and because the F40 is newer, even though it looks better sculpted, it is $7 more, and that's just unacceptable. But now, let's move on to the building experience of these two sets. What Lego set here has a better building experience? Well, out of the two Lego sets we see right now, they're basically tied. And the main reason why is both of them have about 250 to 300 pieces, and essentially you're just building a car. They both only technically just roll, and there's not a whole lot more to the building experience than just sculpting the car. From making the chassis to shaping the exterior to making the interior, it's all relatively a similar design. Maybe the only difference is that the Ferrari F40 uses more interesting new pieces that really sculpt it very well, but apart from that, essentially they're the same thing. But now, let's move on to playability. When it comes to the Lego set that's the most playable, you're looking at what's easiest to play with, and the big thing is how durable it is. And the winner is the F8 Tributo, and the reason why is this. It's simply just easier to pick up. You pick it up and you put it down. You can grab it from the back or the front and anywhere in between. You can't do that with a Ferrari F40, or you will actually take off the spoiler. So yes, you do need the spoiler for it to look good, but it makes it less playable since it makes it more fragile, and that's an important consideration as well. But now, let's move on to the minifigure selection of these two sets. Now, what Lego set has the better minifigure? On the left, we have the minifigure for the F8 Tributo. On the right, we have the one for the F40. And to be honest, by a very slight amount, the F8 Tributo has a better minifigure. And the reason why is it's just more interesting. Instead of a plain, boring jumper or hoodie, You get a jacket with a Ferrari logo. It's a two-tone piece of clothing. Plus you get a helmet, which is fun to see as well. And there is, in fact, a secondary facial expression. And that's always appreciated, especially because the F40 does not have it. The lady on the right only has one facial expression. In this case, smiling. But now, let's move on to my final thoughts. Now, out of these two Lego Ferraris, which one is better? It's a very close decision because of the fact that with the F8 Tributo, in many ways it looks less accurate and it's less displayable. But the F40 Tributo on the other, well, just the Ferrari F40, on the other hand, it looks better, but the pricing is $7. It's about 20% more expensive than what it should be. So that has to be considered. Also, it's more fragile, and that also needs to be taken into consideration as well. And looking at the scores combined with the minifigure selection, the winner is the F8 Tributo. The reason why is because sometimes the things that make a Lego set newer don't make it better. And this is the case with the F8 Tributo. Yes, it looks worse than the F40, I'll be honest, but for playability, which is very important for a Lego Speed Champion set since it is aimed for children, when it comes to the value proposition, which is incredibly important since you do want to buy something that's worth your money, and as well as that, the minifigure selection does make this better. Now, yes, the F8 Tributo is retired and now you would buy it for more money than the F40. That is true. But if you're comparing what Lego released 4 years ago to what they have today, they did it better 4 years ago, and a big part of it is the price. Yes, the F40 looks better, but does it look $7 better? I don't think so. Especially considering more recent Speed Champion sets such as the Dodge Charger from Fast and the Furious and the James Bond DB5 also cost $33 Australian, and they look just as good as the F40. So there's no excuse for Lego to do what they're doing. But that is it. Let me know down below what Lego set you prefer out of these two. And yeah, comment down below which one you'd prefer. If you enjoyed the video, please smash the like button. If you want to see more content just like this, please subscribe. I hope you guys have a fantastic day and keep building.